All right, so you just learned that there's a near side of the moon and a far side of the moon. The near side of the moon is the side that is always facing us. That is also the side that the sun lights up different amounts of. Sometimes we can see all of the near side of the moon. Sometimes we can only see a little sliver. Sometimes we can only see half of it. Just depends on what phase of the moon cycle it's in. So here is the near side of the moon. How would you describe what the near side of the moon looks like? Okay, you might see these large dark spots. Do you remember what those are called? Those are called seas. Now, is there really water in those seas? No, it's just called seas because way back, before scientists knew there was no water on the moon, they thought that's what those big dark spots were. They thought they were seas. Now we know there's no water on the moon. Those are just big, flat areas on the moon. What else do you see? Okay, you see lots of little round spots. What are those round spots? Those are craters, right, where the meteorites have hit the moon and made big holes. So that is what the near side of the moon looks like. And I know we've mentioned the man in the moon. Sometimes people look at the moon and they say, hey, I see the man in the moon. So what they're doing is they think those light and dark spots on the near side of the moon look like a face. So that's where the phrase man in the moon comes from. All right, now let's look at the far side of the moon. Does the far side of the moon look the same or different from the near side of the moon? Okay, you probably said different. How is this side of the moon different from the other side of the moon? You might have noticed that the far side of the moon appears to have many more craters than the near side. Here's a picture of both sides, side by side. So you can see that the far side of the moon definitely has more craters. Now, no astronauts have ever explored the far side of the moon, so we can only guess as to why this side has more craters. My theory is that the far side of the moon is more exposed to outer space and more exposed to those meteorites, and there's nothing to get in the way of those. So I think that's why there's more craters on that side. I'm probably wrong, but that's my guess. So there they are, side by side. Hopefully in the future, we'll get more astronauts on the far side of the moon and discover more about it. But for now, the far side of the moon is mostly a mystery.